Hello and welcome to another episode of SpectreVision. another episode of SpectreVision.
SpectreVision, the show where we talk specters and visions.
Have you or anyone in your family ever seen a spook, specter,
or vision?
Yes.
I've seen WandaVision.
I've seen that too.
Does that count?
Hey, it's the 4th of July weekend here. We're celebrating all things American, and
It's
I can't
Monday.
think of anything more American.
They observe the 4th of July today.
Yeah.
The government.
Is my paid day off from work today here. See? But we're celebrating the most American movie ever made in 1975, the movie Jaws.
Jaws. A fucking classic that doesn't need another review on YouTube, yet here we are. And yet here you are watching it. So thank you for that. Hit like and subscribe while you're at it. That's the wonderful VHS. I'm not sure what pressing that is, but I do have a collector's edition that's 2 tapes as well.
I have one of those that's still got the Best Buy tag on it, unopened.
I like that one more just because it's the classic.
Oh, yeah.
I do have over on the shelf that you can't see the Jaws 2, which is the special edition that would match the other one. Then the old Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge. I rather like the Jaws franchise, even though the first one's obviously the only masterpiece. The rest are just for hardcore fans of shark movies and goofy shit.
And Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
The second one tries to be beat-wise very similar to the first one, right? You know, you get to deal with some of that.
Which is like, if you're in the mood, it's not bad to watch. It's just not anything groundbreaking like the original. And then Jaws 3, I like Dennis Quaid, and I like some of the fun shit, like the concept
how
of it.
Fucking goofy it is, like at the SeaWorld type park and shit.
Yeah.
Like that part like entertains the fuck out of me, so.
You know, this one has a lot of like weird shots that you can tell that filmmaking was just different back then with like the type of outdoor night shots they were doing.
Yes.
How they look, they don't look great, but that's just because of the age and the time.
No, and there's a lot of shots that, you know, they're over darkened, right, for daylight shots that they try to make look like dusk or evening.
Yeah, that's true.
Which works very well. And then some of the worst shots, and they're used very sparingly in this, are from when you're looking at the rear of the orca from another boat. And some of those shots are real grainy, like low quality, just because I don't think they had it was just much more difficult to shoot high quality from a distance like that at the time. So,
yeah, this had a lot of filmmaking problems with the mechanical shark and all that, but it ended up still being one hell of a fucking movie. It's not hard to pick up on things. I like it when they don't baby you into stuff. I mean, there's obviously exposition in the dialogue to let you know that, oh, well, this is his first summer here. It's kind of a summer town, as the fucking mayor says.
Yeah, they make all their money
with this fucking asinine suit and shit.
Yeah.
Looks like fucking Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack.
No respect. I get no respect.
What's classic is this movie's like 2 movies in one, right? You get the beginning of it, which is kind of your thriller, scary movie, like with all the shark vibes at the beginning. All on land, all very kind of situational, people at the beach having fun.
I like
terrorizing you, right?
Yeah, you actually get a child killed in there. Alex Kinter.
Yes.
Fucking dies. That's cool in horror movies because it's always like more of a shock.
Yes. And then
I like all that blood
2 dead kids
shows up in the
week.
water. Exactly.
The movies we watched.
Well, the other part about that, though, is Alex's mother shows up later on and gets pissed at the sheriff or police chief Brody, I guess, right? Because they're like, hey, you knew there's another...
Yeah, I would have been
There's another death, which is obviously the death you see at the beginning of the movie, which...
The mayor was the one who was the dick, obviously, and was like, you can't close the beaches.
Yeah.
I would have told her that way she wouldn't vote for him next time.
Never compare me to the mayor from Jaws.
Exactly.
The government is run like the mayor from Jaws.
Pretty much.
They're just worried about money instead of people dying.
Yeah, so...
Basically. Capitalism.
No, I really like, obviously, the legendary cast in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I did take some notes for this. Not many. But, you know, Roy Scheider's obviously your main protagonist. You obviously have a couple more, but that's your main one throughout the whole movie. That's your vision in your eyes and your...
Yeah, he's your lens to see the story from, right?
And they have enough entertainment in the moments because there's a lot of dialogue in this movie, lots of talky, lots of interesting things, like the scene where Hooper shows up to his house to drink, you know, and it's kind of slow at first until they go out of the water, or the scene with Brody and his son imitating each other just to fucking lighten the mood.
Yeah, I mean, I think that works very well for this because there's some moments in this like where there's just a lot of death at the beginning and a lot of destruction. So you're like, okay, we got to balance this out somehow.
Yeah.
You don't get that in summer movies these days.
The town hall meeting is one of the first really cool scenes, though, too, when Quint gives a speech. You know, Robert Shaw,
yes,
who died like 3 years after this was filmed and released and shit, in 1978. He's one of the most interesting characters, too. This is like, you can easily tell the influence this has had on every movie that's been basically fucking ever made since this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was pioneering for what it was.
Especially any sort of like adventure and disaster movies, anything like that's kind of that way, especially.
Another real interesting aspect is looking at John Williams' score for this. It's so iconic, but when you go away from just the main Jaws theme to the other rest of the score, you feel all those vibes that he's just like starting to play with and like really put together that you like notice in other movies he scored later on. You're like, oh, okay, I feel that. You get those.
I'll catch that bird.
Yeah, you catch the reminiscent there. You know, you're like, oh, that's vaguely like this or that.
I like the guys throwing the roast off the dock because they think they're going to catch the shark, and then the fucking collapses the whole dock.
Yeah.
They did later kind of, that scene is almost in the Godzilla remake with Matthew Broderick. There's an old guy fishing, and the Godzilla comes, and he runs off the dock. But I think he gets eaten by Godzilla, too. Or at least, you know, fucking murdered by him accidentally.
Yeah, as he should.
I like the Hooper doing the autopsy scene, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me? These motherfuckers. Yeah, have you notified Coast Guard, you dumb bastards?
That whole autopsy is classic. You see the fucking tin can come out of there.
Oh, I had to note that this is like, so much reminds me of Twin Peaks, too. Like the autopsy scene, the dead girl on the beach.
Yeah, there's some very...
I was like, I see you, David Lynch.
Yeah, you can see some interesting things come out of there. One of my favorite parts of this whole fucking movie is Robert Shaw's bit as Quint talking about the USS Indianapolis, because that's all based off historical accuracy, right? And it's all based off World War II, the first nuclear bomb, like all that shit.
Well, that scene in general,
like if you're a big fan of Shark Week, which I believe started tonight.
That's funny that we're going to release that this week.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
so if you're watching Shark Week, right,
Makes
that's
sense.
one of those things they talk about on there, and I didn't know that. Like, you know, as a kid, I never paid attention to Quint's speech there. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then now you listen to it and you're like, God damn, that's fascinating. Because they're talking about the battle scars and everything else. And
Well, yeah, that's what's interesting is in Chasing Amy, there's a scene that's basically taken out of this one, where they're talking about their scars from giving oral sex.
yeah, it's
I can't turn my
And
direct
it's an exact replica of that, which, you know, Kevin Smith loves Jaws because he named characters fucking Brody and Quint in Mallrats, plus the... When are you going to propose to her when Jaws pops out of the water?
Exactly. There's some very subtle stuff. If you have never noticed that before, you're welcome. But it's fun to catch on that shit.
But for me, I love Richard Dreyfuss is my thing in this movie. His performance is great. I love him. He's hilarious. When him and Robert Shaw's interactions together are great.
Oh yeah, just
fucking
them
banter.
on the boat. Like I said, like that second half of the movie where you really get out in the water.
And then they bond over that story like you were talking about.
Yet they still
all that
treat
shit.
each other like shit. Like, right? They're still like that. I fucking hate you, but they have some level of respect after that night of drinking.
Yeah. There's interesting points to be made about Hooper, you know, because he has the, like his family has money and he's about to go out on that 1.5-year expedition, but he decides not to because of this fucking great white shark and shit. I like the part when he's debating and he's fucking dealing with the mayor too, and he's like, "All right, that's it. I can't deal with this guy. This
Yeah.
guy's a fucking asshole, basically."
No, he's great because he brings the scientific perspective with him, but he's also like that rich kid, so he doesn't have a lot of the real world experience, which is what Quint's
Another movie
basically
trope
trying
thing
to-
where you have this guy who is the rich guy with the money and the science and the knowledge in it, and the guy who's the ruffian with the real in blood experience with no actual knowledge, but you put them together and then it's like a unstoppable machine.
I feel like this plays out much better than a lot of those do because
Well, yeah, but I'm saying this is what
Yeah.
they took from this.
yeah, because he's not the complete asshole. Like he's got legit concerns. He's not just being a dick to be a dick.
Yeah.
And so everything he's doing, everything he's trying to work through is like, okay, it all makes sense the way it plays out. And then he's like, oh, you got all these expensive toys, can't do shit with them. You know, instead of calling the Coast Guard, Quint fucking just destroys the goddamn fucking radio.
Right?
Loses his mind.
I still get triggered when I see that part. I'm like, oh, God, here it
Yeah.
goes. Because I almost every time I'm like, this is one of those movies I convince myself every time that, no, they're going to make it. They're not all going to die. Well, you know, Robert Shaw's not going to die. And every time, sure enough, he dies. But
Yeah. His death, like as a kid, I've seen this movie, growing up
It's
all the
fucking
time.
terrifying.
Our fucking mom loves this movie,
Yeah.
and his death is the most terrifying death in the movie to me. Like just seeing
For
him
sure.
like slowly go into that shark's mouth, fucking get eaten
His
alive.
screaming,
Well, his screaming, you see like the blood in there, like in his mouth, like clearly blood capsules or whatever. But like you see him go down there and like they get eaten, like and his body's limp as his both arms flop in the water. Like the detail in that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
Well, it's even more sad after he survives Indianapolis and the sharks
Well,
there.
I mean,
it's ironic.
That's really the whole point of this is like he's spent his whole life hunting sharks and doing shit after that, and then he goes out by the greatest shark he's ever hunted, right? I mean, it's kind of like that. Go out on top of your game because he's ready for it. As he's facing his fear, like he faces his death pretty well because he realizes what's happening. And he doesn't fight it as much as you think he would, right? He has that one desperate attempt to grab.
he stabs it.
Yeah, he's got the machete and he's doing stuff. But I mean, even like just him trying to hold on to Brody's hand from the cabin, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, and then Hooper's already been fucked off for a little bit at this point, basically, because he's on that cage. And that
Well,
was
yeah, that
fucking-
shark cage gets fucked up, and that's a great way to do it. You're like, how do you get that without 3 people on the boat, right? And then you
You go in a
see
cage, shark goes in a cage. Whatever that whole speech is. He
Or the
says, you go
water.
into water, cage goes in the water, shark's in the water.
pretty much.
Farewell to the Spanish ladies. What is that song he sings?
Yeah, he sings a lot, which is hilarious.
He
Like,
sings
I
the
think-
same one a lot, too.
Yeah, I think that just works for his character the way he's just singing the whole time. Like even like when their shit's fucked up, he's just singing.
Oh, and they sing together downstairs, too. We forgot
yeah,
about
when
that.
they're drinking. Yeah.
Tired and I want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
That one's funny. Male bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, Steven Spielberg didn't put it in there. It was in the script, just so people knew. But they all fucked each other.
Oh, okay.
Definitely happened.
Definitely
Definitely.
Walmart.
If you're wondering, Robert Shaw was definitely the top.
It was too much for 1975, though.
Yeah. it was
And
a
the
little too
ending
much.
of this is perfect,
It's
right?
the original Brokeback Mountain.
If you say so.
Boom, 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 boom.
The ending's perfect, right? Because in so many modern movies, they would have shown everyone be back on shore and be heroes and like have some sort of celebration. And this
Yeah, it
movie,
ends
like,
very abrupt.
you
I
just-
like it.
You just see them like right, basically getting to shore.
Smile, you son of a...
Yeah,
Bang.
yeah, and I like how he misfires several times too. And you're like, is this motherfucker gonna run out of ammo? And then he gets it. you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. You got one shot. You only miss one shot. Do not miss your chance. The Eminem song, whatever. you
Yeah,
know.
everyone knows that. Fucking classic. This movie still holds up. It's
Yeah.
always good.
Let's take a peek-see here at the VHS, shall we? Color, 2 hours and 4 minutes. Rated PG. PG. Remember, back before PG-13 existed. Holy shit. You know, that's a wonder that this movie is rated that because of the violence in it, especially violence against children and shit.
Well, it's the same thing with like Ghostbusters, right? You see
Well,
the,
for sure.
Well,
But this
that-
is way more violent than Ghostbusters.
There's no tits, though, so it's good.
Yeah, true. There's no penises either.
That's true.
Yeah,
I just like the design of this box.
sex scene.
You know,
That's the very vintage MCA Universal. Yeah.
aesthetic. Ooh, sexy MC
Oh.
home video. 1986 printing. I guess I just got my answer. Pretty sick, huh? So that was Jaws. Back on the shelf, the tape goes.
Drop your favorite quote or comment in the comments below. Whatever you like the most about the movie. It could be a quote, could be a picture of Nick's butthole.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what else you want us to review in SpectreVision.
Yeah, give us some movie ideas. We're always looking for fun new things to see.
Keep your eyes open. Thanks for watching.